And so they starting to file out, and if you want to say anything to them, you may, if you want to say anything to them.
The second she sees them, she's really happy. Jenny's, I have some first aid training. I really want to help. If there's anything I can do, just bring people to me or send me to them.
Oh, the Jennies will say, she'll say, we have some paramedics coming as well, but if we need a little bit of help, we'll let you know, ma'am.
Okay, where should I go?
She says, I think, ma'am, you should get yourself away from the building as far as possible. And you can see some of the other cop cars coming around, and they're starting to try to form a barricade to keep all of the citizens away, because there's a lot of people crowded around the building. They're going to continue to try to file in and try to keep order. I don't know if Ewa's going to do anything before we move on to Molly.
Tiffy's just going to take her movement action and head over toward Misfortune. Or Felicity.
Yeah, Felicity actually has run out of her store.
Yeah,
just
I
to
see her.
What's going on. Molly, you're up.
Molly's gonna she's found the exit, and now that she knows where it is, she's gonna try to come back in and find whoever was calling out to her.
Okay, you don't have a source of light. Do you have a source of light?
I don't.
Okay, then you might have a difficulty in there, just so you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep calling out, and I'm gonna say, all right, whoever's in there, come this way, follow my voice.
Okay. Bullet, are you doing anything? Oh.
Yeah, so Lux told Bullet to get water, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Set a floor down?
Correct. There's a shattered window. You do see a shattered window.
Oh, and it dawns on me,
floor
I
down.
don't know if Bullet can fit inside.
I think Bullet can squeeze inside,
Okay.
possibly.
Either
Well,
way,
yeah,
Your
that's
hammer,
our
your
pretty
hammer
heavy
shattered the window.
Once they pull the wings in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, either way, at the order, just give her brisk nods, like, water, right. And so then he'd swoop back down to at least check the window to see if he could fit.
Yeah, I think you can swoop in. You're fast enough that I think you can swoop in and close yourself up.
Okay,
to
so
get
swoop
into the
in,
window.
like spiral in again.
You'll spiral in, and you can, it's a hardware store, and you do see a shelf nearby that has bottles and bottles and bottles of fresh water. So,
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to do anything else.
Yeah, I'm wondering, being a Crobat, how one would carry items. I mean,
might be
obviously he
difficult.
does that because, the delivery service, but I imagine Molly
Yeah.
usually takes care of all of that
Correct.
stuff.
So it might be a little tough.
If you have a saddle, do you have saddlebags?
I would imagine, some sort of thing like that, but it would still be, Molly's the one usually putting them in.
Putting them in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you would have difficulty putting them in.
You have
Probably
faith.
need some help.
I have a big mouth.
You can try to open.
Sorry.
You can probably fit a whole bunch of bottles in your mouth.
Yeah, I think he might then, with no other
All right.
option, just
All right.
swoop in and try to grab bottles.
Do you have gulp by any chance?
I have bite.
Roll a bite. Actually, that's close. That's close enough. Roll. I guess I'll roll the bite for you. Let me see what you get. Oh, there's an error.
I
Bite
could do
wasn't
it.
working. Go ahead.
Physical.
Syntax. 9 or 28. All right. We'll say that you can fit. We'll say that you can fit. I'll say that in your mouth you can fit a dozen bottles of water in your mouth. You're large enough.
Awesome.
All right, so you've got a dozen bottles of water in your mouth. Now, Cassie, you're up. So
Okay.
Cassie, you're still inside the building. It's completely dark now. The lit wicks are gone, but you do know that you're around some unconscious bodies by the cash register.
Okay, and Chase had given her directions, I believe, and then she heard Molly calling again.
Yeah, you can hear Molly's voice, so you know where the exit is.
So if there's no light that way, then I assume that means there's no fire that way, right?
Correct.
And the smoke or whatever is clearing out? The gas?
The gas is clear the more you move towards Molly's voice.
Okay, well, can she, even though she's tired and everything, can she try to drag one of the bodies with her?
Yes. Molly, Roma, can you roll an athletics for her, please? Would you like to move the cashier, or would you like to move the body that Chase was moving out? Riz.
Might as well just keep going with the one Chase was moving.
Okay.
Oh, I can't. I don't have control of Cassie right now.
Oh, Shay was rolling for Cassie.
Oh,
wasn't
Shay
he?
was
He's the
rolling for
one.
Cassie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Shay was rolling for Cassie.
So am I moving her? Just moving her? I don't have to do a roll. That I missed.
No. Just roll an athletics for me, please.
Okay.
5. All right. You can move her a little bit, but not very far. I'll move her.
It's
her do
fine,
that.
slow and steady.
All right. And is that it?
I guess like roll a perception for good measure.
Have a roll of perception, please. I'm gonna have you double move out.
I mean,
Sure.
yeah, I figure she's just moving as far as
Oh,
she can.
yes.
19.
Okay. So with a 19, you can hear. Okay, you definitely can hear the sound of police. Officer Jenny's outside. You definitely can. You can hear Molly. You can see the lit wicks have almost disappeared completely. They've been running off, and you can see out of the door that they're running out. You can see that the fire in the storeroom where you were has spread, and you can. I think that's all you can hear at the moment.
Okay, so when you say heard police, like outside the store?
Outside of the building,
Oh, okay.
not the store, the building.
I think we're good then.
Okay. Chase.
Okay, so. Oh, where did Remy go?
I'm sorry, Remy, you're up. Remy, go ahead.
Okay, so Remy's gonna take one move action towards the green gas. 1, 2. Oh, by the way, Hark, is a diagonal move 1 or 1.5 or?
I'm gonna say 1 just to keep
Okay,
it simple.
sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shelf. So 7, 8, 9, 10 gets me there. So you got some
Yes.
fog of war. Basically, Remy would see the green cloud there. So essentially,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to run into it to get any further and
Correct.
for Fern's.
Into the gas.
What's there?
Correct.
Yeah. He's going to give out a nip to see if he can get Noir's attention.
Okay.
And if there's a telepathic connection there at any point, just so maybe she can interpret yip means.
Roll a focus on Remy, please. If Remy has a focus.
6.
6. I don't think that you can tell. There's no telepathic connection there yet.
Okay. Second move, I'm going to call out back to Fern and say, "Get the boy out of here."
Okay. Is that it?
To be honest,
Oh.
and then I'm just going to move this way.
Okay. Chase, you're
Or
up.
5, 6. Do a half move up that way, if that's cool. With
Sure.
yeah, okay, and then Chase, scrolling down. Okay, I'm going to grab. I hear the sirens now. Outside, I presume,
Yep.
or is there a lot of like crackling sound here that disorients that?
I'm gonna say you can hear the sirens. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to move towards this stack of people here. So 1,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 5. Pick them up.
Yeah. Yep. Roll in athletics to move him.
Athletics 15
Yep. You can move him at your normal speed.
at normal speed right now, or do you want it next round, or am I
Yeah,
good?
right now. Because if you're
Keep
double
going.
moving,
1,
then yes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yep. Okay. Lux.
And guessing my Crobat friend is not back yet.
Did we skip Bullet?
No, I
I'm.
oh, I don't think.
I think we did skip Bullet.
No, Lux goes before Bullet.
Okay.
At least did last time, because Lux broke the window and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't skip.
Okay.
He
No,
was
I
gobbling
just
up
wasn't
bottles.
sure where you were at.
Oh, he was
you got
gobbling the
water.
bottles.
Okay.
Right. He's gobbling the bottles.
Yes,
All
I
right.
don't need
I'm
a
forgetting
whole-
how short the rounds are.
Yeah. Lux.
Okay. I'm assuming everything that's not by fog of war I can see. So I see no people,
yeah.
no Pokemon.
You see, yeah, I'm gonna say that you can see clothing. There's like a children's clothing section up north.
Looks at the clothing section, we're like, came in on the wrong floor. Looks at telepathic girl.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really do anything to help her. Doesn't really want to move until Bullet gets back. Can I just hold action?
Yeah.
Okay.
Noir, what are you doing?
Well, she'll see. Does she see Remy?
She does.
Okay. Can she levitate over the shelves?
She
What
can
does she have to do?
levitate. She can levitate over the shelves. What is your focus value?
4. Oh wait, no.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
4. I'll say that if you want to levitate, you can move 4 squares. You can move your focus in squares if you want to levitate. But I'll let you double move if you want to double move.
Okay. I think there's actually like a rule that says how far.
Oh, if there's a rule, then we'll use that. If you want to look that up, we'll...
Moving capability. Capability is 4. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you can double move for 8 if you'd like. And then that'll be your turn. And then Fern will be after that.
Okay, she's just going to single move 4, and she's going to use is a swift action. Can you do? Is that like a shift action, or can you do that on top of other stuff?
A shift, you mean?
Yeah. No,
I think you can
a
do
swift.
Yeah, I think you can do a swift.
Okay. Can I still double move and do a swift?
I actually am not sure. For right now, I'll say yes. We can check
Okay.
the rules later. For the adrenaline pumping, I'll let you do that.
Okay, I'm just going to do a swift action and spend 2 AP to activate telepathy with 1.
Telepathy? Who are you going to
that's
use telepathy?
2. She's not going to use it, actually. She's too far away still.
Okay.
She's just going to move diagonally that way, though.
Okay. Is she moving at all anymore after that, or is she staying put?
As far as she can go, I think.
Okay. Fern.
We'll be very happy that she managed to convince Remy to help the woman, and she's going to go to the boy and go, huh? And head towards the exit.
Okay.
Awkward.
Tiffany. We were with the Jennies.
As,
Several of the Jennies have gone into the building.
Okay, is anyone up for to help or no?
You do see a couple people that are coming out of the building coughing. It's as if they are having trouble breathing.
Okay, she's gonna move over, try to help bring them over to safety.
What was that? It was horrible. It's a woman who's coughing.
I don't know, sweetie, just explosion. Felicity, can you go bring some water up, please?
Of course, baby, of course. The woman is coughing, says, I bet you this must be the doing of Team Rocket.
Would not surprise me, but let's get you some water, let's get you seated down. In out.
Is you doing anything?
He's gonna try to offer a little friendly hug to the coughing
Aw.
person.
I think the coughing person is too weak to resist, so you can succeed. Okay.
She's
she
gonna
says,
make all
shuddering
the
a little
friends
bit.
today.
Molly, what are you doing?
Can Molly roll a perception to see if she sees Cassie yet?
I'll say that you can see Cassie now. I'll say
Okay.
you can see her.
All right. I think Molly's gonna move back toward Cassie to help her move the unconscious person.
Sure.
3, 4,
Well-
5.
And then Bullet, you're up.
All right, well then, I'm just gonna head back to Lux, assuming then I can just swoop out the window again, go back up the floor.
Yep.
And
You're
it
going
is,
up to the window again?
yeah, is Lux in view of the window?
Yeah.
All right, well then he will go in and just be like, "Arr, arr, arr."
Luxie, you want to respond?
Huh. And proceeds to try to jump up into saddle.
Okay. Roll an acrobatics, please.
Wait, I keep forgetting to put myself on. Acrobatics. 11.
11. Yep, you can jump onto a saddle.
Okay. Since I held my action, can I use this as like mounted and try
Yes.
to get him to go over toward the floating lady?
Sure.
Think can get us over there.
Wait, you're doing what? Sorry.
To go to Noir?
Yeah.
So you want him to go into the building.
Oh, okay. He's still outside of the building.
He's still outside of the
Oh,
Oh no,
building.
I had him go in.
Oh, he had him go in. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's what I thought.
So you're inside of the building with the gas. I'm going to have to, since you're inside of the building, can Roma please roll his survival so that he doesn't get
isn't-
knocked out again?
Since he's flying above it, same way Noir is.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'll be lighter. Well, no, it'll be heavier up
Right.
above.
Oh, it rises, right?
So it rises, so I don't think that helps them at all.
Though they are right by a window, so it is airing out at least.
Correct. 8. Okay, so Bullet, you can move towards the girl, but it'll be moving towards the gas, and you've already been knocked out of the gas before.
Okay.
So that's up to you what you want to do, Riz.
Well, yeah, with a mouthful of water, he can't really protest and was waiting for Lux to kind of direct anyway.
Okay, actually, as soon as he gets the scent of we're going back into it, does he have like reins or something? Sorry, I don't quite know how the Crobat saddle works.
He probably does have reins, I'm thinking.
He has handles.
Okay, Lux is going to grab one of the handles once he realizes, okay, gas floating lady, not good idea. Actually, now that they're up, how much does he see? Would it just be the standard map now?
You can see pretty much what's revealed.
Okay.
Essentially.
Alright, tap in Crobat side. See the white furry thing over there? Let's go to the white furry thing. Try to skirt around the bad smelling stuff though.
Alright, do we need to roll perception for that, or can I just see it?
I'll say you can go.
Okay, then he'll head off.
It's not dark in here, it's just the lights are flashing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Actually,
So
if you can help any, try to circumvent him around it.
I don't think you can help him.
Okay.
I mean, he wants to
Cassie?
avoid it as best he can anyway, so...
Yeah, I moved you, so you're going towards Fern.
Okay, thank you.
Cassie, Somali has reached you, and she's trying to help you help you exit.
Okay, so she'll give a quick nod of thanks and say, there's still at least one more person in there. But
You
aside
know where
from
they
that,
are?
I mean, she does, but would she... I don't know if she'd be able to really define it. I mean, she'll give a nod toward, like, the direction she had come and say, not far. But,
Okay.
do you want me to roll athletics to keep pulling?
No, I'll say that you're still moving.
Okay, cool.
Remy, you're up. Are you moving that way, Remy? Okay. And then I don't know if Remy's doing anything else. I think you're muted.
Well, dang nabbit, here I am talking.
There we go.
So yes, 10 that way, and then I'm going to move up for the second moves. 1, 2, 3,
Sure.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. And then I'm assuming Chase is going to try to help that person out.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So, now it's at this point that the Officer Jennies have reached or have gotten to the scene, and the police officers are going to make their way into that floor and try to rescue more of the people out. Several of the Jennies are on the walkie-talkies right now and saying, Jenny Smith, looks like we've got some gas in here. I'm thinking we're gonna have to take the masks out. And then she says, right, Jenny Jennings, over and out.
Glad they got their comms down.
Okay, so the people who are inside, I'm assuming that Noir is going to try to help the woman. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, can she see the woman? If she can see the woman, she's going to like
How? Yeah. How are you gonna help her? Are you gonna help her with with your telekinetic powers?
tele
Or are you gonna?
kinetics. Like if
Okay.
she can't just like lift a woman by herself,
Okay.
she'll just
Okay. So what I'm going to say is that you will be able to move her telekinetically. The Jennies are going to focus more on the 8th floor first before they go into the 9th floor. So they probably will not witness you moving anyone telekinetically. So I will let you save that woman.
yay.
So you've saved the boy, you saved the woman. That's 2. You've saved at least the cashier. You saved the person that was saved by Chase. And I'll split the other cashier. And then Chase saved another person, so that's 6. Okay, you saved 6 people in this scenario. Congratulations.
Yay!
Wait, does that mean the
and-
other cashier didn't make it?
The other cashier is probably going to be saved by the Jennies. You will not
Oh.
get credit for that one.
That's fine.
There are 6 people that you have. There are 3 people who are dead. There are 3 casualties, 6 rescues, and there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 other people that the Jennies rescued that you did not rescue.
Well, maybe if the response time were better.
Exactly.
30 seconds. Why did it take them 30 seconds?
Because they've got to say all of their first and last names every time they talk to each other.
Yes. So, I will say that everybody managed to make it back outside. You will have the group of you like congregated out of the building. I'll just move you all out into the street, and if you want to, update your positions, you may do so. And
Just so you know, I'm pretty sure Nord helps the woman out, and I know Fern would probably try and ask the boys that your mum.
Aw.
yes, so I'll start with that. So as the people are coming out of the building, the boy comes out first, and the mother that you think might be the mother is being pulled out in a stretcher, and the boy yells out, "Mommy, mommy, mommy!" and he runs over to the stretcher. The mother, she has something over her face, and some of the paramedics there will allow the child to follow with the mom, and they will load her and the child up into, I guess, the ambulance. More of the other people are also being loaded on stretchers. Cassie is pretty badly hurt. So I guess you were well enough that you could physically walk out of the building with Chase. So you're not immediately being rolled out into a stretcher, but some of the Jennies are walking around to some of the people just to assist them if they want to be taken in for care. I don't know if he will accept or decline. I'm not sure how that works, but
Could I try to discern, what's wrong with me exactly?
yes. You can use a medicine education roll. Shay, please, for Riz.
Ooh.
13.
So you do have some minor burns. You do have some minor burns on yourself. The effects of the gas seems to be lifting. So yeah, I think the burns are the more serious thing. You probably should get that looked at or treated to some degree.
And while still thinking, now that I'm, out of the daze at least more so, can I think about what actually happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you asking me a
Yeah,
question?
I mean, like, is there a roll that I can make, or do I just am I just aware? Oh, there was an explosion.
You remember everything that I told you from last session. One moment you got the package from Molly. You put the package away, and then you continued stocking the shelves. And then the next moment there's a big explosion, and then you blacked out, and then you wake up with gas with this guy pulling you out, pulling you out of the room.
Okay, so she remembers all that. Thank you.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you guys want to do before I get to the Jennies? Because the Jennies are going to start asking questions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so
Is
yeah.
there anything happening before that?
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Someone go before me if you have to.
Okay. Sorry. When Bullet came out, was he flying? Was he walked out?
I assume flying.
He flew out of the window with Lux.
I mean, he'd do his best to avoid more of the fire and gas, but I assume the clearest way would have been out again.
And I'm assuming that at some point he will see Molly and fly towards her direction
Yeah,
with
Molly.
Lux on its back.
Yeah, Molly's gonna. At first, she was relieved because she was relieved that at least Bullet was outside during all of this. But then she sees it. Oh, Arceus, what happened to you?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Bullet actually is heavily burned. Bullet clearly probably needs to be sent to a Poke Center soon.
Yet seeing her, he looks quite happy.
Yeah.
With
If
his
you could,
mouth full of water.
you might hear in the distance the little beeping sound that happens when the Pokemon is at red health. I hear something.
So,
No, that's
alright,
just
so
the
yeah,
alarm on
Bullet would swoop down in front of Molly and, open his mouth and just water bottles start, spilling out, some of them punctured, But he'll, nudge up against her and, yeah, seems really happy.
Okay.
Molly
so
will.
down. Sorry. Good.
Molly will shock for a second. She'll grab some of the water bottles and open them up and start just kind of pouring it over him.
Okay, that'll help a little bit.
As soon as we were down, Lux hopped off, saw him drop water bottles, grabbed up two. I'm assuming Chase is here.
Chase is close by,
Okay.
and yeah, so he'll acknowledge Lux. He'll look at him
Lux
once.
is rushing over to you with the water.
Oh, jeez. And Chase is moving this way.
Okay, Lux is going to follow.
So he moves south. He just gives a glance to Felicity to make sure she's okay, and he'll keep walking that way.
Okay. You're gonna walk towards that direction, and
Where there's less Jennies, actually, I should be clear about that. I don't, like if all those cars
Okay.
were cop cars, that's not the direction I'm going.
are you walking away as in leaving the scene, or are you just walking out of the way?
Not the scene, but if they're all just standing around like that, the Jennies
Okay.
are likely going to come and ask questions, and I want to remove
Yeah.
myself from that and disperse myself
Yeah.
into the crowd.
Okay. So you'll disperse yourself in the crowd. Is there anything else happening before I get to the Jennies?
I presume Cassie's going to be there and Fern's going to see Cassie.
Yeah, Cassie
so
would look
Fern-
for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fern's just going to jump into Cassie's arms. Or if she can't jump into the arms, she'll just nuzzle the leg and go. It'd probably feel quite nice because on Cassie's burns, because that would actually lower be like a coal pack.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in seeing Fern, she'd call her name and kneel down and, then actually take her into her arms because little Fern can't jump that high, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, and he'll get a little hug.
Okay.
And Remy will look around, and
Yeah.
the other Pokemon will hear him, and he'll start licking his fur. He's like, I don't know what everyone's problem is. It felt pretty nice in there.
Yeah, as that was happening, as he's looking at his fur, he just gets picked up by Nora, and Nora's just hugging him a little bit too tighter than she normally does, and it's oh thank goodness you're okay. Oh thank goodness. It's really cute.
He accepts a hug, but then he keeps licking his fur.
Anything else? before I get to?
Seeing the burnt crowbat arrive, actually, first a little bit of a confused look of where's Chase going? No, okay, not my problem. Starts heading over. Is your crowbat okay? I'm assuming he was going to follow.
He's pretty badly burned. I don't know what happened. I thought I left him outside.
Might have tried coming in to find you.
Molly's gonna look at Tiffany and then look at Bullet and say, "You big dummy! Why would you do that?"
He still seems to be smiling, but it's much more sheepish now. Lowered his head a bit.
So Molly's gonna continue pouring.
Okay. Tiffany does actually have the first aid training focus for this. And
Yes.
she did grab the first aid kit.
Yes,
Anything
she did.
she could do to help. She's actually
On
going to
Bullet,
hold them
yes.
up to Molly. I can help, although I do recommend a Poke Center.
Yeah, please, if there's anything you can do.
Let's see what I got. Opens up kit. I know in the video game there's actually a spray thing for burn, isn't there? Or is that more just removing effect of burn?
I'm gonna say that you can use a spray, but I think that I still think that Bullet will need to be taken to a
Oh,
Pokemon Center.
100%. This is more
yes.
basic first aid.
Yes, you can use that. I'm sure that there is something in there that you can use to treat burns.
Okay.
The burn status. Yes.
Do you want me to roll anything, or just cool saying it's going on?
Is what roll your first aid?
I think it would be under medicine education. Not
Yeah,
actually
go ahead.
sure.
Yes. Medicine education, please. 8? Yeah. All right. So Bullet, you feel. I don't know how often you've been burned, Riz, but it feels. I mean, I burned myself as in like I touched a really hot, cookie sheet that just came out of the oven. So that stings for a long time. So your entire body is like, you're in pain. You're in great pain. But this woman who comes up to you, Tiffany, she actually is able to help soothe the pain so it's not as sharp. But you definitely don't feel 100% at all by any stretch of the imagination.
All right, well, he'll still gladly press his body/head up against the strange woman and give a little rub and thanks.
Why is it with poison types wanting to cuddle me? Good Crowbat. This is
Molly
you.
will-
He also likes hugs.
Ooh will approach Bullet and give him kind of a comfort hug also.
Well, he's not about to shy away from that.
One of the Bidoofs that was being dragged out, he has regained consciousness, and he's kind of wandering around the area at the moment, and he actually goes up to the group of Pokemon that you guys are, and he says, "Hey, what happened in there?" The Bidoof asks.
Shrugs.
He says, I was in the store with my owner. Next thing I know, this big giant explosion happens, and I'm right outside of the shop. Don't tell me none of you saw anything.
Fern will speak up properly
Mm-hmm.
and go, well, we got a package, and a little while later there was an explosion. Everything got really loud, and there's fire, and then I went to sleep.
You got a package?
Yeah, I don't know what was in it, but I know the explosion came from the storeroom.
He says, where is this package from? Who delivered it?
Those guys. They brought it from a place.
You brought the package?
Bullet will kind of glance behind himself.
Yeah, and Remy's glancing at Bullet.
he's sort of trying to put two and two together. So right now, Fern is saying that she brought the package in.
That's where the package came from. Like, she
Oh,
doesn't,
okay.
like, she's like, why are you so curious about this package? I'm more concerned about the storeroom.
I mean, yeah, Bullet seems kind of nervous. Just so, what, you think the package has something to do with it?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Me and my owner, we could have been killed.
Well, I assure you, my master would never carry anything bad.
Which one's your master?
And quite happily, he will turn in the direction of Molly.
Bidoof like sizes up Molly a little bit, and he kind of shakes his head. I'm getting too old for this. And it's at this point that the officer Jennies are starting to question a lot of the people in the area. You can hear the voice of Felicity. I was just at my shop, minding my own business, attending to customers. It's the dinner rush, hun. When all of a sudden, this big, giant, loud sound came out from just outside the building. Oh, I swear. I looked outside, the whole place was on fire. And then there's this big bat-looking thing flying up into the window, and my friend, some people tried to go save people. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy. One of the officer Jennies, again, are still. Several of the Jennies are still talking, and you can overhear one of the Jennies on the talkie saying, "Chief, we're gonna need the lieutenant over here. I think that this problem is probably a lot big. There's more to this problem. There's more to this incident than meets the eye." And you hear a response. One of the Jennies goes up to, I guess. Well, first of all, is anyone volunteering to speak with the Jennies about the incident? Or are they going to wait for a Jenny to approach them if they're in the area? Is my question.
Molly is very nervous about all of these Jennies around, so she definitely won't volunteer, but she'll cooperate if they approach.
Okay. All right. Well, a little bit of time is going to pass by, like 5 minutes or so is going to pass by, and another cop car arrives at the scene, and out of the cop car comes out another Officer Jenny. This Officer Jenny is dressed a lot differently than some of the other Jennies in uniform. This Officer Jenny clearly has more of a wearing more like a long, not raincoat, but like a duster kind of, like a long coat that goes almost down to the person's
So like Commissioner Gordon.
knee. Yes, very Commissioner Gordon-like. Several of the Jennies like tip their caps at the lieutenant, and Lieutenant Jenny looks like this. That is Lieutenant Jenny. This is the only male Jenny that you've ever seen in your life. And he has natural black hair, but he's bluish, and he walks over to the scene, and he's surveying the area. He's looking up at the building. He sees like all of the crowds dispersing, and Lieutenant Jenny is going to start talking to the other Jennies, and one of them will point over to Cassie, because they discovered that Cassie was one of the people who works at the store where the explosion happens. Lieutenant Jenny approaches you, Cassie, and he has a notebook in his hand. and he asks you, Cassandra Pine.
And by this point, has anyone, like, seen to her wounds or anything, her burns?
Tiffany
Some of
would
the-
have, unless you actually went to one of the ambulances.
Well, you think they would or wouldn't have?
I'm sure the paramedics would have also gotten to you to offer to take you,
Yeah.
to give you some care, some first aid, and then offer to take you in an ambulance. How is your insurance, by the way, Cassie? Ambulance rides are very expensive.
Weak chuckle. I don't know, I assume Pokemart cashier isn't really anything great.
Probably nothing great, but I mean, I don't think they can force you, technically. If you're walking about, if you're unconscious, then yeah, they're gonna decide to put you on a stretcher. But since you're conscious and you're walking about, they're gonna ask you if you would like to be taken to the hospital.
I mean, she'd definitely accept aid, but no, I don't think the hospital just yet.
Okay. So when the lieutenant approaches you, there's already a paramedic who's like bandaging you up, maybe some of your burns, bandaging some of your burns, and so the lieutenant will say, Cassandra Pine.
So she'll look up at him and just nod a little and say, yeah, that's me.
He says, my apologies. He says, I know that you are probably in a lot of pain right now, and hopefully that we can get you some aid and care. I was wondering, however, if you are able to answer a few questions for me.
She'd sigh a little, but nod and say, yeah, go ahead. I'll do what I can.
The paramedic says, I'm about finished here anyway. Go do what you need to do, Lieutenant. And the paramedic will leave. Lieutenant Jenny will then say, do you work over at the Pokemart up on the 8th floor where the explosion occurred?
She nods.
Were you in the store when the explosion occurred?
Yeah, I was very close, I'd say.
Could you please describe for me what happened leading up to the explosion? What you can remember?
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary, really. Served some customers, they left, got a delivery, sorted things out in the back room.
Did you notice anything strange or out of the ordinary at all?
Did Cassie ever actually get a chance to see what the delivery was?
No.
Okay, well then, she'd nod and say, well, as routine as the delivery was, I didn't actually get a chance to look inside.
He then says, where exactly did the explosion occur to your knowledge?
Yeah, is she aware of that part? I know it happened while she was stalking.
Yes. In the storeroom. Yes.
Okay.
Out of characters in the storeroom.
Okay. Then she'd say the storeroom.
He said, was there anything placed in the storeroom other than this package that you had put in recently?
Well, shit, what do you think? We stored bombs?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm just asking as many questions as I can. Just trying to figure this out as much as you are, I'm sure.
So she'll sigh again, close her eyes, rub her forehead, like, no, as far as I'm aware, that's the only thing that was out of the ordinary.
He nods. May I ask where the package came from?
So she'd, point a thumb over toward Molly and say, you'd have to ask her. She was the delivery woman.
She was the delivery woman. Is there anything else that you think would help with this case? Do you know anyone who has had any reason to attack this shop? Maybe an employee or your boss or something? Do you think that somebody might have some sort of a motive against them for some reason?
Given that he listed, employees or the boss or anything, would she have any reason to suspect anyone?
I don't think she'd have any reason to suspect anyone.
Okay. Is there any sort of knowledge or perception that I can, grasp at a memory or anything?
Let me ask you this. When you left Team Rocket, was it on good terms or bad terms?
It was more just kind of poof.
Okay.
Well, so she didn't officially resign or anything. She just kind of left.
Okay. I'll say that The only thing you can possibly think of is if Team Rocket doesn't think too kindly about people just abandoning them, maybe this was an attack on you.
Okay, yeah. So
This is something that you know, being from Team Rocket, this is something they would do. As a terrorist group, this is something that kind of has Team Rocket all over it, kind of, sorta. So people who abandon their group without notice, like you did, probably is not in good light with them.
Then the thought would definitely cross her mind, and it's not a pleasant one. She'd shake her head a little and say, I don't know of any motivations, but seems a lot like something Team Rocket would do.
Okay.
So she's not gonna, like, give anything about her backstory.
Okay, roll me a charm, please. Whoever's Shay, if you could roll for her. 9.
Charm or a guile?
Actually, it would be a guile. That'd
Yeah.
be guile. Sorry, roll a guile for her. 4? Okay. Lieutenant is kind of looking at you, studying you a little bit carefully, and he then asks, "Is there anything else, Miss Pine? Anything else at all?"
So she'll think for a few seconds and then shake her head and say, No, sir, but I'll let one of your officers know if anything else comes to mind.
He says, "If you do know anything else, here's my card," he says, and he'll pass you his card.
Alright, well, she takes it with a little nod.
Lieutenant will now approach Molly.
Molly
Excuse me, miss.
Molly will kind of flinch when he approaches. Yes, sir.
He says, "My apologies. My name is Lieutenant Jenny. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the incident that just occurred on the 8th floor of this building."
Okay, I'll help as best as I can.
He says, "What is your name, miss?"
My name is Molly Moon.
Can Chase
Molly
do a
Moon.
perception check to hear that?
Sure.
Also, I just want to say, is it possible for Noor to eavesdrop on all these conversations?
Well, okay. So Lieutenant is probably going to try to make these interrogations private. So if you are going to eavesdrop on them, you're going to have to do it somehow in a way that he doesn't notice that you're eavesdropping.
So, it's in the open, but it's frowned upon to listen in.
Can I
Correct.
use guile to hide my body language down listening?
Yes. Chase, I'm going to say that with an 11, you do hear her say Molly Moon.
He whispers to himself, "Child."
Cassie, you also remember that Molly Moon is the name of the girl that was on the Have You Found Me flyer.
Oh, was that listed
Have
on
you
the
seen me
paper?
flyer. That was listed on the paper. Have you seen me? Yes.
And so she heard the name too.
She hears the name too.
Okay.
And then how about Noir? Did you have a guile? 7? Okay. I think that Lieutenant's gonna glance towards Noir's direction, but he's not gonna do anything while he's with Molly at this moment. But he'll at least glance in her direction.
Did
And
she
he will.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to
Go
say
ahead.
she wanted
Did
to...
she hear?
Did she hear anything of Cassie's as well? Because she would have been trying to listen to them both.
Let's roll a perception with you.
Okay.
Roll a perception for both. We'll do perception for Cassie and a perception for Molly.
Yeah, sorry, it was cutting out a bit before, so I didn't get to say it earlier.
That's fine. 7. Okay.
I'm good at sevens.
I'm gonna say that you didn't hear the entire conversation of Cassandra's, but you at least heard her. I'm gonna say that you heard Cassie say something about Team Rocket. That maybe Team Rocket might have something to do with this.
Okay.
I'll let you know what you hear from Molly's conversation. Lieutenant Jenny asks for her name. She says her name is Molly Moon. He says, "Miss Moon, what is your occupation?"
Well, I'm a delivery person.
He says, Where is your headquarters located?
Celadon City, sir.
You were delivering something today?
Yes, sir. It was a package to the 8th floor, and at this out of character at this point, Molly's kind of realizing that what she's saying could be very incriminating, so she's getting visibly nervous.
He says, I see. This package, how recently did you drop off this package, would you say?
Well, how much time has passed, by the way?
About 45 minutes.
She's gonna say, I don't know, maybe an hour or so.
For this delivery service, I'm assuming that all of the package are inspected prior to them being sent to their carriers?
My boss asked me if I could ship this out, and he said that it needed to be in a timely manner.
What is your boss's name?
She mentions the Cameron Huxley, sir.
Has this package been on your person the entire time since you left your headquarters?
Well, it's been on my Crobat since I left my headquarters, but yes, we had it.
So as far as you know, no one has gained access to the package from the moment you left the headquarters to the moment that you made the delivery. No one else has had access to it.
Yes, sir. That's right.
He then says, have you noticed anything odd or peculiar that has happened either here at your destination or back at the headquarters?
Well, earlier today, there was a young boy who was trying to send out a live Pokemon.
Young boy. Do you know the boy's name?
Yes, sir. No, sir. I refused his delivery because we don't allow live Pokemon to be shipped out.
Can you describe the boy for me, please?
Out of character. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll let you. I didn't give you a description. You'll give him a description of the boy. He'll write it down. He'll write it down. Was there anyone else at your headquarters that seemed to not belong there? Did you see anyone or notice anyone in your headquarters that shouldn't be there for some reason?
No, sir. It was just me and my boss.
At that moment, he says, I think that's all the questions I have so far, Miss Moon. If you find out information, he pulls out his card and he's about to hand it to you, and one of the officer, Jenny, says, Sir. And the lieutenant says, wait one moment here. And he goes over to one of the Jennies, and the Jennies are talking it over with the lieutenant. And he's looking at something there's an iPad that the woman is showing him right now, and he looks towards Molly's direction. Then he looks at the iPad.
Molly is quite nervous at this point.
Okay. The lieutenant walks back to Molly again, and he says, Miss Moon, I'm sorry. I have a few more questions, if you do not mind.
Okay, yes.
I understand, Miss Moon, that you currently are on probation. Is that correct?
Sir, and out of character, she's on the back of her hand. She's kind of starting to draw like she did in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I can see from your records that you have been out of the correctional facility for 6 months to a year, according to your records on good behavior.
Yes, sir.
I'm hoping that you've managed to keep yourself out of trouble this entire time, yes?
Until today, This is. I never expected this, sir. I was just trying to. She's starting to cry a little bit now. She's saying, I didn't mean for this to happen.
You can look into the lieutenant's eyes, and so he's been studying your expression this entire time, and you can tell that he's trying to look through your own eyes and trying to read you a little bit. And when you start to tear up a little bit, his eyes soften. The rest of his expression doesn't soften, but his eyes soften. He tries to remain very professional, and then he says, Miss Moon, I'm not asking these questions to upset you in any way. I'm just trying to figure out all of the pieces. I hope you understand that.
She doesn't say anything at this point. She's kind of...
He looks towards the crowbat, and he says, "The crowbat over there is yours?"
Yes, sir.
He says, "Minus the burns, he looks like he's been well taken care of, correct?"
Well, I do the best I can for the pay that I get, but yes, I do my best.
I have no more questions, Miss Moon. He hands you the card, and he says, "If you know anything else, please let us know. Contact me anytime."
Molly takes the card, she nods, and then she just kind of sits on the ground like...
Good day, Miss Moon. And then he will turn around and he will start talking to more of the officers. It's at this point, I guess I'm asking, what are the rest of the group doing?
Tiffany's checking with Felicity.
Felicity has finished talking with the police officers and says, "Oh, child, I don't know if going to the movie is a good thing or a bad thing at this point."
I'm gonna say bad. I mean, look at my shirt. It's plaster to me and primer. Looks over at you.
As much as seeing those topless men in that superhero flick would be tempting, I think I've had enough explosions for one day.
Agreed. Very much agreed. Although, where did Numbskull and Dumbskull get off to? Meaning Chase and Lux.
She looks around. I don't think Felicity herself will be able to see him at the moment. Her perception isn't very high. She doesn't. She's looking around. She says, "I don't see them anywhere. Is that the lieutenant?"
I guess.
I didn't realize that he was so young and, well, good looking.
Not complaining, but different circumstances, I would probably enjoy the eye candy more. Oh, your first aid kit back.
Thank you, dear, she says. Hopefully, I'm glad to see that you were able to at least help some people.
Yeah.
Chase, you hear off to the side a group of teenager/college students gathered around somebody. It's the same guy earlier who was recording stuff off of his phone, and you can hear some of the college students going, "Whoa, that's cool! Yeah, that is sick! Do you see how fast he's moving?" And several of them are actually glancing towards your direction.
Oh, geez. Flight, risk. My brain is going. So I approach the team.
You approach the group?
Yeah.
And several of as soon as they see you, you can see like this look of awe on the college students, and several are saying, "Hey man, like what you did was awesome! Yeah, the way that you ran up that wall, that was so cool."
Can we just first keep our voices down? Just not draw the attention here. Let's I want this to be your special moment. I want you guys to take this recording away. Just share. You can share it amongst your friends, but let's not draw attention to me right now while we're surrounded by Jennies.
Oh, yeah, sure, man, sure, yeah. Can I at least get your autograph, man?
Sure. And I pull out, I usually have a Sharpie pen with me, so I just pull it out of my pocket. What do you want me to sign?
I don't know. It's like, what do you call yourself?
My name is Warren.
Warren. Nice to meet you, Warren. He's like, yeah, like you've done, like you're like a superhero.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just doing what I can to help people. And I sign my name, whatever he.
Sure. Thanks, man. This is so awesome.
And then I excuse myself. I'm like, well, have yourselves a good day. Just remember, just keep this to yourselves for now. You got something special in your hands there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
And I slip into an alleyway. I still want to be close
into
enough where I can keep an eye on what's going on, in particular Molly at this point.
Well, after the lieutenant leaves, and assuming that there aren't still officers talking to her or to Molly, Cassie will get up and walk over to her.
Cassie will walk to Molly, and Molly, you see this blonde girl walk up to you, and she looks like she's had some pretty bad burns on her, like first degree burns mostly, maybe some second degree in patches of spots.
Molly will look up. She's still kind of shaky after talking to the lieutenant, but she'll look up at Cassie and she'll say, "So, explosions suck, right?"
With a weak smile, she'll chuckle a little and nod, glancing back toward the building. Just, yeah. You doing all right?
A little shaky from the day's events. Yes, but how are you doing?
She'll crouch down and then end up just sitting down beside her with a bit of a grunt of effort and say, "Oh, I've been better."
Molly will kind of look over at Cassie and she'll say, I really didn't know what was in that package.
No,
So
I
if
believe
that
you.
caused... She'll just throw up her hands and say, I don't know. I really don't know.
No idea where it came from?
My boss is the one in charge of that.
You didn't see who brought it to your building or whatever?
Nope. Maybe someone came in while I was dealing with the kid.
Alright, well, she'll nod a little bit.
And Molly gets kind of this gleam in her eye and she'll say, maybe the Hucks will get indicted for this.
At that, a bit of a smirk will cross her face and she'll say, "Doesn't sound like you exactly love your boss."
My personal motto for him is no one sucks like the Hucks.
She'll laugh a bit more at that because that deserves it. Right, well, yeah, hopefully you don't get in trouble for any of this. I mean, even if it wasn't your fault, I know how seriously some companies take things like this.
At the mention of possibly getting in trouble, Molly will get serious again and she'll say, "Yeah, you don't think they would you don't think they would take me away or anything, do you?"
Take you away? What do you mean?
Well, if they think I did it, do you think they'd take me to jail or anything?
No, I don't. I don't think they'd arrest you. If they were going to arrest you, I think they would have done it already.
Molly looks kind of relieved again, but she's still obviously very shaken by all of this. And okay.
I mean, sure,
Okay.
You might get more visits and more questions, but you've already said all you can, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I should calm down. I told the truth. I told them the truth.
Yeah, at this point, I guess we just sit back and let the cops do their thing.
Like a good idea.
Tiffany, what are you gonna do?
Not Tiffany, Lux, actually.
Lux.
He has finally caught up to Chase, chucks a water ball at his head.
Okay.
Catches it.
Looks annoyed that he caught it. Then proceeds to climb up inside of his sweatshirt because his costume's destroyed, and yeah, oranges are really eye-drawing color.
Yeah, let's not have that in the open.
Or Mimikyu is colorblind. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not.